just stick with Peter Dutton and that seat of his, where we read today that Labor are pouring money into a campaign there to try and blast him, Peter Dutton, out of that seat of Dickson. He holds it by, I think it's one of the narrowest seats in the country, 1.7%. Tell me, Campbell, as a Queenslander and a Brisbaneite, tell me about Dickson. What is that seat like, and why has it always been so marginal?
Well, it's a bit of a cross section, of course, Steve. It's sort of in the northwestern side of Brisbane, and it sort of extends out into a rural area and a rural residential area with acreage. But it has its traditional sort of suburbs, which are many of them are more sort of Labor oriented. So that's the mix. But with these more well-to-do people on the acreage. But I'd be very, very surprised. I mean, Ali France is the Labor candidate. She had a go in 2019 and she did reasonably well in that election. But this is an election with a government that's been in office for 3 years. They're not sort of riding a wave of optimism and positive sentiment. That's definitely not the case in this election. So I think it's somewhat implausible that the Labor candidate would win. I really do. And I think, furthermore, I think that the stuff that's been in the media is the Labor Party really trying to undermine Dutton in more the federal campaign by sort of raising the spectre of, oh gosh, he might not get elected. And I've seen them do that before in many election campaigns. It's, it makes it difficult for the leader if they're in a marginal seat. But in this case, I don't think Peter Dutton really has to worry too much about it. He's been put under a lot of pressure in the past, and he's held that seat, for basically 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, you and I remember the most high-profile, I guess, politician to lose his seat at election was John Howard, which we all just shook our head at and couldn't believe it. Peter Costello, likewise. But, Peter Dutton's held that for, what, 24 years, so incumbency... and you, sorry, I should have mentioned that. He has held it for 24 years. Incumbency must count for something.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. And, Peter Dutton's very well respected in that electorate. As I said, 20 years, and he has had people have a real red-hot go against him before. He has had, in past elections in the last decade, the whole force of the unions, the Labor Party, and the Get Up organisation all going full tilt at him, and he survived that. So that's why I think he comes through this time, pretty positively. I don't think he's under that sort of threat.
Good on you, Campbell. Thank you very much for that. Campbell Newman back with us next Friday. Thanks.